Hi, this is Mohit Paul from Cisco Systems. I work with Cisco's wireless engineering test team. In this short video, I'll show you how to configure Cisco's high availability solution on 5500 controller using Web GUI interface. Let me take you to my controllers here. I have the one that you see on the left is my primary controller. The one on the right here is the secondary controller. As you can see, the redundancy mode is disabled on both of them right now. So I'll first configure the primary controller with the necessary configurations that are required for HA. We'll go to controller tab and then interfaces. As you can see, there's a redundancy management interface. It's right now blanked. So we'll go ahead and configure this IP address 9.9980.6. That will be my redundancy management IP address for this controller. Then we'll go to the redundancy tab on the left, followed by configuration. Here you can see that this IP has already been taken by the previous step that we did, and this is all. You just configure the redundancy management here, peer redundancy management IP address, select the mode of the unit, and say AP-SSO enable. That's it. That's all you need to do to configure high availability solution on Cisco's 5500 controller using Web GUI. So as you can see, there's a redundancy port IP address also, right? System by default takes the first two octets as 169.254, and the rest two octets are followed by the last two octets of the redundancy management interface. So as you can see, we currently have the 80.6, so it has taken 80.6 here. Right now, we don't have anything configured for the peer redundancy management. That's why you don't see anything in the last two octets. But the moment I configure it, the peer redundancy management IP address, which I'll say 9980.8, it should be taken here once we say apply. You want to see it? Let's see. Here we go. 80.8. Right? So we'll go to the secondary controller. We'll say the redundancy management IP address for this controller will be 9980.8. We'll say hit apply here. Go to redundancy tab, global configuration. We'll configure the 9980.6 IP address, which we configured on the primary controller, and say apply. We'll come back here to the primary controller. The mode is selected as primary. Here it's already secondary because I used this controller to do the other previous video. So that time I had to find the configuration for the redundancy unit on this controller already, and it's been retained. So right, so we'll say APSSO enable. You don't need to configure service peer port IP address. That's just optional, just in case if you want to configure the peer, that is your secondary controller's service port IP address, you can do it right away. Otherwise, it's not required to configure the HA. And you would see the moment you say enable here, these options are grayed out so that you don't change it. And the mobility MAC address is also grayed here. We'll talk about this mobility MAC address in our next videos, not now. And here also you select enable. Don't worry about this. Just hit apply button here and say OK. We'll say apply button on the primary controller and say OK. All right. Now just wait for the controllers to come up. They will reboot. Both the controllers will reboot. They do the HA role negotiation. We expect primary controller to come up as active and secondary controller as standby device. Okay, looks like the box is up. All right, we are in. Oh, do I need to go here? No, because the secondary controller will not be accessible now with this IP address. Why? Because in HA, the management IP address of both primary and secondary controllers becomes common. So, as both the controllers share a common IP address, we cannot access the secondary controller on this IP address. Also, when HA is enabled, you cannot GUI. You can only console or you can SSH to the box. So we'll go here. We see the redundancy mode SSO stateful switchover is enabled, and let me give you a quick run through. I have the console of secondary controller, which is my standby. So if I do show redundancy summary here, I can see that this guy is standby hot. So let me show you how many WLANs it has right now. Okay, so it has the same WLAN that was configured on the primary, but just a quick test here, test video. What I'm going to do now is I'll just create an SSID on the primary controller, which is my active right now. Say enable and apply. Okay, so you can see there are two SSIDs now, and if I go to my secondary controller, which is standby, I can see that the runtime configuration has been synced. So I can be assured that the configuration that I did for HA is good, and we'll see more how HA works, what kind of network stability you can attain with HA on controllers in our upcoming videos. Thanks for watching this video. If you have any queries, any doubts, feel free to post them on my blog, and I'll be glad to answer all your queries. For now, bye bye.